In each of these podcasts, I work hard to give an actionable item or items that you can use to move yourself along more quickly. So let's talk about that. In the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp, I've talked about, and in previous boot camps, Chris Voss's work. He's was an FBI hostage negotiator. And there's a couple things in there that I was reminded of this week again with a discussion with a mentee who was talking about seller finance and how to get better at selling seller finance. And so a couple things that Chris Voss talked about were, one, mirroring. And when someone has an objection, they may say something as simple as, "That's too risky." And mirroring is, and it sounds and feels weird the first time you're going to do it, that you repeat the first 1 to 3 words back to the person. So if somebody said to you, "Sounds risky," risky, with a question mark intonation to it. And then they will say, "Yeah, risky, because I think that I should get more money up front," or whatever it is. So you gain information by that act of mirroring. And you're going to be surprised when you do that. Many times you'll uncover the reason, or more importantly, that there is no reason for that comment. So with, for instance, seller finance and it's too risky. Risky. Okay, so what are you concerned about, in the risk? And they'll tell you. Again, use mirroring if you want to just use the 1 to 3 words to get that same response. And then you can go through the reasons that seller finance, in my opinion, is actually less risky. The top of that list is that the price is typically better, and you are going to put the seller in a position where they are first if anything goes wrong with respect to that seller's note, as opposed to if a bank's involved, the bank is going to come in and, quote, eat, unquote, what's left. Now, that shouldn't happen, and again, it's an issue of discussing risk, because the person you're keeping in the deal, they're running it, so the risk is probably more on your side. The second thing is, he talked about, Chris Voss, an accusation audit. And in the discussion I had with the mentee when we were talking about seller finance, I said to him, write down the things you hear that are objections, and then do that accusation audit. Write down the points that you would use to talk about that. And you're going to find, whether it's bringing board members on, whether it's professionals, whether it's financial partners, whether it's acquisition targets, there's only a few questions. And if you're wondering oftentimes how to begin some of those discussions, put together a free course over brucewhipple.com, conversation starters, which I think would be helpful for you. If you want to go there directly, just go over to brucewhipple.com/free course and you'll get that. But that accusation audit process of basically preparing yourself to know and learn what you're going to get as objections and then how to handle those objections is going to help you tremendously. So those are 2 things I would suggest that you get tuned up on. 1 is mirroring, and then 2 is doing that accusation audit, so you have a list and you're prepared when those things come up. As with most things, you need to understand this process. You need to understand what works and what doesn't work. The new Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp is the best information I've put together. Again, you can get that on my website, or you can just go to go.brucewhipple.com/AABC and pick that up. One of the advantages of that bootcamp is I do a monthly, and the one is coming up this Wednesday, live Q&A, so you can actually ask the questions that you have and get answers to those questions and stay current. So if you're not in that, I'd encourage you to do that. Again, you can get that on my website. But this Wednesday will be the live Q&A, and if you are a member of the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp, you'll be getting an email with the login information. So hope those 2 things help. Again, with all of this, put them into action, And the more action, the better.